So, sharpening in portraits using RGB mode. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the image and copy it. I copied the layer just so that if I do mess up, I can always delete the layer and start over. If I were to do all the changes on the background layer and I did make a mistake, I may not be able to recover from that. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to zoom in on my image where I want to make sure that the sharpening is good. I'm going to zoom into 100%. You can see that down here and you can see that up here. Then I'm going to start the unsharpened mask. When I do this, I'll take the amount, put it all the way up to maximum just to see what to set the radius at. Okay, and what I'm going to see is I'm going to just start to see the image getting just really over sharp. Okay. So with my camera and a decent image, you can see about 0.7 is really, really sharp. If I were to go over this, then it just starts looking pretty fake. So what I want to do is I just want to make sure that the radius is there so that what I'm looking at, specifically in this case the eyes and eyelashes, just starts to become super sharp. And that's overly sharp. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back down the sharpening until I get the sharpening that I like. And that's about right there. And then this threshold, what that's doing is in the areas like in the background and the areas where you got pretty consistent color, that's going to make sure that there's a minimum radius before it starts to sharpen that image. And it's generally 7 to 10. So when I get it where I want it, I'll hit OK. Now the one thing I don't want is I don't want to over sharpen the skin. And maybe there's different areas I don't want to over sharpen. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer mask and I'm going to dictate where I want the sharpening to happen. Okay, so right now, a white layer mask basically means that everything is coming through. So I can either paint away the places I don't want the sharpening to happen, or I can paint in the places I do want the sharpening to happen. So if I'm deciding I want to paint in the sharpening, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and change that background image to, I'm going to change the layer mask to black. And then I'm going to paint in where I want the sharpening to happen. Alright, I'm going to do this by using the brush tool. I can hit this icon or I can type B on the keyboard. And I'm going to make sure that I'm painting with white, because remember, I'm painting in where I want the sharpening to happen. Okay, and as you see, as I paint over the eyelashes and the eyes get sharper. The lips get sharper, the braces sharper, and I may want to make the hair a little bit sharper. So in that case, I'm going to make a bigger brush by using the bracket tools. And I may want to make the sequins on the dress a little bit sharper. So as you can see now on my layer mask, what I've painted white, I did this by holding down the Alt key and hitting the layer mask. What I've painted in white is where the sharpening is going to happen. Where it's black, there's not going to be any sharpening. If I hit the Alt key again and hit the layer mask, you'll see the image. All right. If I'm happy with this, I can go ahead and flatten the image, and then I am finished.